Way, happy birthday to Luka Doncic. It is his 26th birthday here. Yep, but there's going to be no California love between these two teams in this one. Shannon, when you look at the individual matchups, the Lakers have essentially been the best team in basketball over the last 20 games, but there are some matchups that could cause some issues here. What can LA prove in this one?
Well, they can prove whether or not their defense is sustainable. Since January 15th, I think they've had the best defense in the NBA, and since January 30th, they've been really holding opponents to not shooting the paint. Opponents have shot the second fewest amount of shots in the paint. Now, LeBron James averaged, 14 rebounds per game the last two, 11.5 the last four. Can he keep going, holding down this team that is really suffering without interior size? Can their defense hold up against Zubac? That's the big question. Now, I know a lot of people say, hey, they did it against Jokic, but you're going to have to do it time and time again. How much energy can they keep up with defensively is my point.
To me, this game is all about the Clippers. This is a must-win for the Los Angeles Clippers. They're half a game up on Golden State from being in the play-in tournament, right? They're in the postseason right now. You're getting the Lakers coming off a back-to-back. LeBron James, both him and Luka had to play a lot of minutes last night.
And both are questionable tonight.
Both are questionable. No Rui Hachimura, so you should be able to impose your will. Big Zubac should have it his way down there. Ty Lue will have this team prepared, but this is a must-win situation for the must-win tonight for the Clippers.
I thank y'all. I really do from the bottom of my heart. I'm very appreciative of what y'all said about the Clippers, because I don't think about them much. I love Ty Lue. I know he's a phenomenal coach. I love the fact that Jeff Van Gundy has upgraded them defensively. And I know James Harden, very, very proud of him and what he's been doing at Norman Powell. I'm a fan. I don't take the Clippers seriously unless I know Kawhi Leonard is going to be available, and I never, ever, ever assume he is going to be available when it counts. So that leads me to the Los Angeles Lakers, the #1 team with defensive efficiency since January 15th. I'm looking at LeBron James in the fourth quarter, 11.2 points per game, first in the league, 60.6% shooting from the field, fourth in the league, total rebounds 16, first in the league, 40 years of age, 22nd season in the league. Playing in the fourth quarter the way that he's playing, I'm paying attention to defense, and I'm paying attention to that because that tells me what I should expect from the Lakers moving forward. I'm not thinking about the Clippers much.
I'm thinking about the Clippers. Look, the Lakers have an opportunity to go to the NBA.
Perkins, I'm Malika Andrews. Through 1,230 games that make up the NBA regular season, sometimes there are times, right, where we might focus on a superstar showdown or maybe a measuring stick game for potential contenders or a chance for the champs to say, we're not going anywhere. Well, this Sunday showcase has all three wrapped into one. Stephen A., what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Denver Nuggets team is going to show up and who's going to step up. As a starting five, they shoot 52% collectively from the field, about 40% from three-point range. They got a few dudes, I think 4 different dudes averaging like 25 minutes a game, shooting about 40% from the field or what have you. It's very impressive. But what's your bench? Your efficiency from your bench is ranked like 25th in the league. I want to see what they do against the Boston Celtics. Jokic is going to show up. We know that. We hope Jamal Murray will do so as well. Who else is going to show up for the Denver Nuggets? Because you're going to need that today to be the Boston Celtics team that have lost 2 straight and damn sure ain't trying to lose 3 straight. You're going to have to show up.
There's so many storylines in this game, so let's get out and run. Brought to you by Samsung. It's harder to find 2 players who do more for their teams on the offensive end than Nikola Jokic and Jason Tatum. They're the only players to lead their team outright in points, rebounds, and assists this season. And today's matchup, it's a little bit of a contrast in styles here, right? The Nuggets, they lead in paint points per game, while the Celtics, they are last. However, Boston does counter that by attempting the most threes in the NBA, whereas the Denver Nuggets, on the other hand, they are 30th. And one similarity between these teams is their place in the standings. They're both second in their respective conferences, but there's a huge gap between themselves and the 1 seeds, the Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers. You really can't count out either of these teams when it's all said and done. Bob, what is it about the Celtics team that makes them so special?
I think, Malika, you just showed it. I'm okay with Denver being the best in the league in the paint and Boston being the best from 3 because efficiency-wise, Denver's got the 2nd best offense in the league from an efficiency standpoint. Boston has the 4th. So it both works. The concern I have for Denver, Malika, is they're 15th best in the league in defense. Boston is 5th. That's where the Celtics, I think, have the edge in a game like this. And if these 2 teams meet in the final, certainly the edge. But look at those stats. The fact that Boston can spread you out as much as they can, and Perk, you played the center position in the NBA. You know, when I play pickup basketball, I'd ask, Who's the guy on the other team that can't shoot? Because I want to guard that guy. Because you don't have to work nearly as hard. Perk, when you're a 5 and you're out there running around guarding an Al Horford or Porzingis, talk about how much that stretches you out. That affects your entire defense, and the Celtics do it better than anybody as far as three-point shooting from multiple positions. You see 8 guys there averaging that many three-point attempts per game. It's hard to defend that team.
But Denver scores more points per game than Boston, despite taking 17 less threes a night. How is that even possible?
Well, one, you had the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, and 2, Jamal Murray finally arrived and decided to join the season. And when they have that 2-man game, it's hard to stop, especially when Jokic is the screener, because now that Jamal Murray has been balling, you put 2 on the ball, all of a sudden Jokic becomes your secondary decision maker, and Aaron Gordon, we know how he loves to play that dunker spot, and we talk about a tandem. It's one of the best tandems in the game is Jokic and Aaron Gordon, so that's how they're getting their points in the paint, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's hard to stop that 2-man game between Jokic and Murray.
The championship pedigree, Stephen A., of both of these teams are undeniable, but this is the first time each conference leader has had a lead of at least 7 games when entering March. Where do you think the gap is smaller, Stephen A., between the Celtics and the Cavaliers, or between the Nuggets and the Thunder?
Well, clearly between the Celtics and the Cavaliers. I mean, I don't think there's any chance that Denver's catching OKC for the #1 seed. Neither is Boston, but I'm saying Boston's closer, not just because obviously they're 7.5 games out while Denver's 9.5 games out. You just look at the way OKC has been rolling throughout the year. We're concerned about OKC in the postseason. The regular season, they've been on a roll for the last 2 years. I see no reason that that's going to be disrupted. Whereas with Boston and Cleveland, you still have a lot of people out there wondering about Cleveland. I'm not. I've been saying they're the #1 threat to the Boston Celtics, but when you come out, for example, and you fall down 11-0 and you fall down 25-3, it's moments like that to say, what's going on here, before they ultimately come back and show you who they are. So I would say the answer to this question is Boston, although I don't think either of them are going to catch the top seed.
I think you're right. I don't think either of these teams, if the question is can they catch and get to the 1 seed, whether the Denver Nuggets...
I don't think it's quite so literally.
Yeah,
I think it's
right.
more about the...
And I think, Malika, they're close. I mean, I don't know that you... I could see the Celtics beating the Cavs. A lot of people could see that. A lot of people predict that. That's not a crazy presumption. I could also see Denver beating OKC, although... I think the gap between those two is a little bit more just because Oklahoma City is so good defensively. But I trust Jokic so much. I may be overvaluing what he can do in a playoff series by himself because he's so good and can dominate a possession on the offensive side. And I always just say this about LeBron. LeBron could get you a good shot for himself or for anybody else. And Jokic, to me, is as good as anybody at getting a good offensive possession by running it through him.
Jokic is good, but I don't trust the Denver Nuggets. Right? And we keep putting them as a team that's a legit title contender.